Hello, dear Libra. I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your January 2022 horoscope. And this is if you have your sun, moon, or rising sign in the sign of Libra, which is all about the scales, balance, relationship, harmony, beauty, and peace. All the things that Venus rules, which Venus is retrograde right now, and it is canoodling with Pluto yet again this month. But December probably had some very powerful revelations, powerful moments, possibly even some fated, I'll use that very lightly, but fated events that could have occurred for you. And if it hasn't happened yet, just stay tuned, because I feel as though January is going to offer quite a bit of that for you, where especially we have Mercury in shadow now, and it retrogrades in the sign of Aquarius this month, and it moved into the sign of Aquarius on January 2nd. So we kick off with the month of January with a new moon in Capricorn on the 2nd, as well as Mercury entering into Aquarius. So your fourth and fifth houses are activated, and it most likely has you thinking about home, roots, what gives you that foundation and security so that you can express yourself in the best way possible. You're also most likely being activated with some unusual circumstances that you find new ways to get pleasure, or to work with children, or maybe you're thinking you're ready for a child and you want to start your family, and so you're really thinking about home and family right now. With this new moon in Capricorn, it may have you setting your sights on long-term results for what gives you the greatest foundation or security. That may be what you're looking for most, Libra. And because we are dealing with a Venusian theme for you, and this is because I'm putting your sun, moon, or rising sign on that first house, that you're looking at it from the lens of what would give me pleasure in a way that helps me to feel as though I'm successful in my home life, or what helps me feel as though I put the past behind me so I can achieve something greater in my everyday sense of belonging. And I think you may be having your sights on, relationship. Does this relationship make me feel secure? Does it give me the foundation and the stability that I'm looking for? And if not, what do I need to do to make that happen? And these could be where some of your New Year's resolutions or your new moon intentions are being activated. You may also find that you can take a real objective view if you're dealing with anything that has taken away your pleasure. Maybe life got a little too serious. Maybe there was some family conflict that occurred. Let's say you're bonded with somebody, you and your partner are talking about, maybe there's some things with elderly parents and you have to move them in and you need the resources in which to do it. And that may not be the greatest pleasure in the world of taking care of somebody unless you have your home set up in a way that feels harmonious and that actually can benefit everybody involved. Because the upside to, let's say this example, bringing maybe an elderly parent, or a friend needs help, or a child is moving back home, or maybe they're going to college. Either way, what you're looking at is this could be another person that can help out with the household things, or can help to feel a little bit more secure, even though you may be an independent Libra that is kind of doing their own thing and enjoys whatever it is that you express yourself in your unique way. That you're getting some bigger, unusual ideas of like, yeah, I could do this by myself, but it's much more fun with somebody that I enjoy, or bringing in more people. I feel like the more the merrier. Your social life could get pretty active towards the second part of January. I'll talk about that. But for now, your real concern and what you're looking at from a long-term view is more about foundation and home with that fourth house. And then what gives you pleasure. A few of you Libras may have started a relationship recently. If you're single, you may have had a fated moment where you connected with someone in a powerful way with this Venus and Pluto canoodling in your fourth house, and then that fifth house becoming active, that now you're ready to talk about your future. Maybe you're sitting there going, I know that some people say you shouldn't start a new relationship during retrogrades. Again, What I will offer is that if you start a new relationship during a retrograde, take your time getting to know that person. Don't go pick out China just yet. Give yourself permission to look at it from an objective view, as well as to revisit certain conversations and get underneath the surface of things. But I think the biggest thing, the way you can take it slowly if you're dealing with a new relationship, is keep it objective. Talk about everything. Give yourself permission to just reveal, hey, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what gives me pleasure. This is what it doesn't, And I would say that the bedroom gets a little sexy and heated during this time as well, in a good way, because if you're wanting to spice things up, if you're partnered or if you met somebody and you're dating, that this is an opportunity for you to be able to talk about it with Mercury and Aquarius in that fifth house. And you can do it in a way that just has maybe a lot more objective view versus the emotional body that can sometimes take over and make it a little bit murky. Now, I will say, a few of you Libras, if you have started a relationship during this time, that you may go, okay, it's just a fun in the moment. And then when Mercury goes direct in February, Venus goes direct at the end of the month, you may have some revelations that say, okay, it doesn't fit for me anymore. It was just a moment in time. However, I would say that the dominant part of this is that many of you Libras are going to attract or are in a partnership already that is deeply transformative and healing. And what you can do, especially when Mercury goes retrograde on the 14th of the month, is you can talk about some of those deeper fears and insecurities and do it in a way that isn't clingy, needy kind of thing, but it gives you the chance to be able to revisit even some things as far back as childhood, because remember that fourth house is also very active. And so this relationship dynamic can actually offer great healing for you. And it can liberate you when we're dealing with this Aquarian energy, can liberate you from repeating old patterns. And we're looking at our lives right now and creating this new reality for ourselves in a way that says, how can I do it differently than I've done before? Now, it's not just relationships that we're looking at. With Venus in Capricorn retrograding through that fourth house, you may also be looking at finances. How can I better my home? Some of you may be signing leases again, or maybe you're thinking about selling your home and this is the month that you start to get things in order. I would offer not to put it on the market yet. Wait until Mercury goes direct in February if you want the better contract. However, if you do feel the push or desire to sell, or you need to sell your home during the month of January, do so in a way that takes your time, crosses T's, dots I's, get the details, get that second look or that second set of eyes to go over that fine print. I will tell you, it feels to me, though, if you are making a major move this month, that you'll have to revisit it down the road. Not everything will go quite as smoothly as you would hope. Maybe you hire movers and they just don't show up on time, or they charge more than you absolutely would want to pay, but it's a necessity. So you surrender. We're working with Venus canoodling with Pluto. So there's a lot of surrender going on. Some things in the home that you just have to let go of. And there's nothing you can do when these energies are brought up, when the things that are sort of like this rotor-rooter that's bringing up all the shit from the past, that you have to deal with it. But the good news is you have all the tools you need in order to be successful at this. If you can stay in that heart space, remember, Venus is about how we give and receive love. And so if you can really activate that and own, that's the other thing, really own who you are and activate that love language inside of you, what you'll find is that your home life, whether it's people or things or just psychologically, if you're in a situation that lines up with your values, that makes you feel as though you are the better version of yourself, then this is how you're going to weather through it. There are things from the past when planets are retrograde that come up for us to work with. Remember, you've got greater tools. You're stronger than you've ever been before. The biggest thing, Libra, that I feel you're going to have to pay closest attention to in the month of January is boundaries. You have to communicate those boundaries, because sometimes you can get very accommodating and you can invite in trouble because people have a tendency to take more than they give, or if you give them an inch, they take a mile, as they say. So it's going to be important for you to communicate those boundaries. And I do feel as though that's going to come into play for some of you Libras who are working with a toxic or a negative relationship. Maybe there's one that you've been apathetic in, then now you need to make some decisions. And when these decisions are being made, it may not be a time for action just yet, but you can at least talk about it from an objective view. You can state the facts, and you're also able to work with it in a way that looks at it from a long range perspective, because we are dealing with Aquarius and Capricorn energy, which is Saturn ruled. And so you may be looking at everything in a long-term perspective that says, does this give me the stability that I want in order to achieve my long-term goals in my home and my love affairs, the things that give me pleasure, the way in which I creatively express myself. One other little pin on the map: if there's a third party situation, Libra, this is a month where that secret could come out, or that you need to make a decision between two people or a particular situation. Doesn't always mean love affair, but we are working with fifth house, which is about dating, love affairs. It's just this nice, lighthearted kind of energy. We're not in the seventh house, which is where the partnership is. However, Libra and the zodiac does land in the seventh house. So there's some of that influence there that may come into play. But most of all, what I feel is that you're going to, the first part of January, you're looking at who in my life and what in my life supports and gives me the foundation, gives me the courage, the strength to be able to achieve the things I want most. The reason I point to this, we have a full moon in Cancer on the 17th, and this is going to activate your 10th and 4th house. So again, you're going to be looking at your public and private life. How do you show up in the world? Who complements your reputation? How do you want to actually succeed when it comes to the things that help you feel good? Because we're dealing with a Cancer-like energy here. And in doing so, this gives you a chance. The thing I really enjoy most about this full moon for you is that it's going to activate quite a bit of emotions around what it is you feel like you belong to, who you feel you belong to. And so in doing so, you're going to release and let go. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a belief system. It's all very individual, but it's this releasing and letting go of the things in your life or the situations in your life that have created anxiety about how you are showing up in the world, who you're partnering with, what kind of projects or interaction you have, decisions you're making that you're aligned with. And if you're not aligned, then you get to let it go. And this also gives you a chance. Some of you Libras will be looking at makeups and breakups during the month of January. And this helps to bring stability into your home life. And I think that's the thing that is most important for you during this month. You may also find talks or connections with others that provide a new opportunity for you after this full moon in Cancer when it comes to your finances. So do pay attention if you're looking for an increase in income or a change in your job, that this also can be activated. And that's just more of an intuitive hit for a lot of you Libras. Now, January 18th, Uranus goes direct, activating your 8th house. And in this area, it is going to be one that brings in a little bit more stability in your joint resources, your finances, which helps to, and the things you invest in, which helps you to get more stabilized and feel as though you can find a firm foundation now, because maybe you've been repressing some deeper stuff that you didn't want to talk about with your spouse, or you didn't want to talk about with somebody you've been dating, or you weren't ready to talk about it or do something with your resources where you were investing your time and energy into. And now you have extra support that says, now I'm ready to go. And if, especially Libra, I'll just put a little pin on the map as we're dealing with Venus here, your ruler, that you may be looking at it from a financial aspect where you start investing in, say, cryptocurrency or the housing market, or your partner and maybe a business that they're doing. Some of you may be waiting to sign contracts, if you will, on a business agreement, or like I mentioned before, the selling of a home. This now gives you the chance to do it. Again, I know that Mercury will be retrograde. However, don't let that scare you off. If the wheels are in motion and you've already set those intentions, you've been looking at it, you're doing your due diligence, just take your time. And remember, some things may get delayed when Mercury is retrograde. That's all. So try not to get frustrated. Keep your sense of humor. The sun moves into Aquarius, activating your fifth house right after Uranus goes direct. So on January 19th, the sun moves into Aquarius, giving you more vitality and energy and motivation to have pleasure in your life. So you get past that full Cancer moon, which is very emotional, but it also gives you another push with the sun in Aquarius to say, now that I've let go of the things that have been toxic or held me back from feeling really good about myself, I can truly move forward now and have more pleasure, have more fun. This is also a good placement or a good activation if you're wanting to release anything that has been your own unique expression. Think of it like your child now is out in the world. And I think of it as the teenager when you're in that fifth house. So teenager, young adult, you've graduated, or maybe you're right there at that senior year and you're ready to go and strike it out in the world and show everybody, hey, this is what I've been learning over the years, months, weeks, whatever, and I'm ready to finally express it. And you'll find good reception from others if it is unique, if it is something that is true to yourself, and it also can expand the mind. So whatever you do, whether it's a creative expression of writing or talking or speaking, or maybe you've taken on another form in your job, maybe you've got a new promotion, that sort of thing. If it brings out the best in you and it has great joy for you, others are going to see that enthusiasm and they're going to line up. Mars enters Capricorn. This is a great thing. This is on January 24th in your fourth house, giving you more motivation, more drive, more passion to solidify your home life and to make it feel really good for you. And you may be thinking about, hey, I have these goals in order, whether it's a financial goal so that I can fluff up my home, or so I can refinance it, or I can buy one, whatever it might be with this home thing. And maybe it's just the way that you feel like you belong to your group of people that you work with, or there's something along the lines of belonging in family. Mars is going to have you motivated. A few of you Libras are going to be looking at starting a family or expanding your family during this time, and this will drive you to do so. It gives you very sexy energy. I see a lot of you Libras getting pregnant during this time, if that's what you're wanting to. And you'll find, because Mars loves being a Capricorn, it's exalted. It's so powerful. And usually Mars just charges ahead loudly and forcefully and impulsively by nature. But with Capricorn, Mars will have more direction. So whatever you choose to focus on, especially with your home life or what gives you security or foundation, this is the time to do it. And you'll have the energy, because Mars will burn the midnight oil to stop at nothing to get things done, because it's not afraid of hard work when it's in Capricorn. And you will find that you'll have the strength to deal with any obstacles that may show up. So if you're in that process of changing some things up with your home life or foundation, maybe something from the past that has to be dealt with, don't shy away from it. Deal with it, because you'll have the strength to do that. The one thing you want to be careful of with Mars here is you just don't want to get too insensitive. So if you're one of those Libras who are breaking up or divorcing, moving out, whatever that might be, try to use as much compassion as possible. This energy will allow you to be able to split things practically, which will be nice, but at the same time, it can have you feeling a little bit insensitive to the other person's feelings, and that doesn't always translate well. Mercury retrogrades back into Capricorn in that fourth house on January 25th. So that tells me that there's going to be a lot more conversation, a lot more revisiting of the past around something with your home and your foundation, your family life. Venus goes direct January 29th, further activating this fourth house. So if you feel like the first part of January is a lot of planning and talking and not a lot of action, wait till the end of January, because I feel a lot of action is going to start taking place in this fourth house. If nothing else, when I say action, it may just be a feeling for you that you're like, yeah, I feel so good now in my foundation that I can achieve anything possible. And many of you will attract a more serious approach. You may find yourself again dealing with an elderly family member that needs your help, but they're going to be willing to help you out. So think of it this way. Here's a practical application to Venus direct in that fourth house. Let's say the first part of January has you talking with elderly parents or one, and they move in with you, and the parent wants to contribute to the mortgage or the rent. And so that boosts your income because that's one less expense or added income, if you will, to your expenses that you already pay. And so that gives you some relief that way. Or maybe they help out with cleaning the house, or taking your children to school for you so that you can work, and that sort of thing. So that's one example of ways in which it can be very blessing for you by the end of January. And I've mentioned relationship a few times for you, Libra, and mostly because that is something you do focus on quite a bit. And it is going to be active in the month of January in a way that can benefit you so that you can feel more at peace and more at home within yourself, within who you partner with, or within who you work with and the kind of work that you do. All right, Libra, I really hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and come find me at jamiedawn.com. I look forward to connecting with you. Have a great month.